Hello, everyone. Welcome to a virtual version of our information meeting. I'm going to go through some slides tonight. Our agenda will be some brief introductions. I'll talk about charter schools, the basics, the SPA program at kind of the 30,000 foot level. We'll talk about the enrollment and admissions process and the steps therein. And finally, while I won't be able to answer individual questions and answers in this model, I'll try to get out some of the most asked questions that I get at these information meetings and address those at that time. So my name is Neil McChesney. I'm the Executive Director and Founder of the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts. Typically at these meetings, I also have our Director of Curriculum and Integration, Lisa Kingsbury, who is basically our co-founder, and Christina Bendoiro, who is our registrar and will likely be the main point of contact for you when you submit your application to our school. We also have a lot of different stakeholders involved in Contra Costa School of Performing Arts. First and foremost, we have our own school board, our own governing board, consisting of parents and community members that provide oversight for the school at the highest level. We have a dynamic and diverse staff and faculty. We've got about 50 employees at this point, most of which are teachers. We have a great parent organization. We call them Ensemble because we have an arts name for everything in our school. They meet regularly and are quite actively engaged in our school community. And then a variety of community and business partners, from legal to facilities to curriculum to partner schools that we work with, all to suggest that we have broad capacity to implement a school of this nature. Most importantly, we have an amazing student body, a diverse and dynamic student body. I like to share this slide because it shows you where our kiddos are coming from. In the middle there, that blue little image is where the school is located, right on the border of Walnut Creek and Concord and Pleasant Hill. And you can see our students are traveling from quite some distance to get to us in some cases. Some walk or ride their bike. Others come from as far as Fairfield is the farthest. You can't even see it on this map. So pivoting into charter schools and the basics of what a charter school is and isn't, I'd like to start with the Charter Schools Act of 1993. California became the second state in the nation to approve charter school legislation, which was eventually enumerated in Education Code. And you can see the highlights here. Without reading the whole thing, the important parts are those bold and underlined words. They capture the intent of the legislation. First and foremost, it was about doing something to improve pupil learning through increased opportunities and innovation, offering choice for educators and families within the public school system, holding those schools accountable for results, and creating a sense of competition within a system that had previously been monopolized by just the districts. Some more information.
Growing at a rapid pace. There are more than 900 charters in California, serving more than 365,000 students. But what is a charter school? Charter schools are innovative public schools designed by educators. More specifically, they come from creative environments that public schools.
So some of the basics there. If you are interested in starting a charter yourself, anybody can actually do that. And it begins with a document called the charter petition. The petition outlines a comprehensive plan for how you are going to do school. As you can see here, it outlines everything from the educational program, the instruction, the curriculum, the kinds of goals you're going to set for your students in your school community, how you're going to govern the employees that you're going to bring on, all the way down through how you would close your school if it ever came to that point. It is quite an exhaustive process to write a charter petition. And the SPA petition can be found on our website. It sits at just under 400 pages. Not exactly light reading, but certainly some important information in there if you want to check it out. When you're ready, you submit that petition to an authorizer. At the lowest level, that's a local school district, and then it can be also to the county office of education, or at the highest level, the state board of education. And you're basically proposing like a contract. Here's how we want to do our school. Here's the results we're going to achieve. You hold us accountable to that. And if you are approved by that authorizer, your charter can have a term of up to 5 years. For the SPA petitioners, our authorizer is the Contra Costa County Office of Education. So despite the fact that charter schools have been around for quite some time and are quite present in parts of California, in other parts where you don't see a lot of charter schools or people just aren't aware of exactly what they are, there's still a lot of misunderstanding and mischaracterization. So I'm going to try to dispel some of the largest myths that I hear every day about charter schools right now. Number one, charter schools are private school or some kind of privatized education. Fundamentally untrue. You know, I get questions all the time like, how much does it cost to go to your school? Are you a private charter or a public charter? Well, the reality is there's no such thing as a private charter. All charters are public schools by definition. They are part of the public school system. They cannot charge tuition. They cannot cherry pick or discriminate in their admissions process. They're held to the same standards. They take the same standardized tests. If they have more applications than they have spots, they hold a lottery or a public random drawing. I'm a believer because they are part of the public school system. By design, by intent, very much public schools. Number two, they are kind of a flash in the pan experiments, here today, gone tomorrow. Well, certainly we're 25 years past the inception of charter school legislation for California, and charter schools have grown since then and are pretty much agreed upon as a permanent part of the educational landscape in this state and in this nation. There's studies that suggest that charter schools are outperforming their district counterparts on the aggregate. Now, there's no one here that's going to say that charter schools are a silver bullet for what ails public education, but when done well, they have their distinct advantages. This chart is a little old at this point, but you can see clear charter school growth over time, the last 15 years or so. There's actually more than 1,200 charter schools this year, serving more than 600,000 students. So I need to update that graph a little bit. And then annually, you see 150 to 200,000 students sitting on wait lists trying to get into charter schools, which I think speaks to the demand for choice and the success of the charter school movement. Myth number three, charter schools are not held accountable. It's the Wild West. You can do whatever you want. Also untrue. I will suggest two reasons why I believe that to be categorically untrue. First, you remember I talked about the charter petition as a contract. Well, like any contract, there are terms that you're held accountable to in that contract. Every 5 years at most, you have to go back to an authorizer and get renewed for another term. During the course of that term, they're coming to visit your school. They're looking at financial, academic achievement reports, other compliance documents. Your authorizer is watching your progress carefully. And if you don't achieve results, if you aren't true to the terms in your contract, you can be non-renewed. And if you make an egregious mistake during the course of your term, your charter can be revoked before it's even up. So that's very different than a district school. Where you might have a school that's historically underperformed or not served their community, and they're still there, and not a lot happens. Charter schools can go away if they're not successful, and I think that's a good thing. The second thing is that they are schools of choice, meaning that you have to sign up for this school. There's not an immediate feeder pattern of kids that are coming to this school because they reside at the same zip code. And like all public schools, we're funded based on enrollment and attendance. And if you, our family, does not like the kind of program we're offering, is not satisfied with our results, you can opt to leave. You can go back to your public school. You can choose some other option. And if we can't keep kids here, the bottom falls out of our budget and we're not a sustainable organization. In that way, we're directly accountable to the families themselves, unlike a big district that can absorb declining enrollment or attrition. So heightened accountability, in my opinion, in terms of charter schools. Finally, like I said, I'm a believer, I'm a founder, I'm an operator of charter schools because I think choice is important. I think choice within the public school setting should be a right of every family. Okay, pivoting to the SPA program itself, you can see here our mission statements. It's a marriage between a college and career preparatory program and a conservatory style training in one of 5 performing arts majors. We believe that's a happy marriage, that when you integrate those things, you can see really important results. Those 4 R words at the bottom are really important to us as well. Our core values: rigor, relevance, resilience, and relationships. I'll come back to that. If you look at our charter petition and the other literature about our school, we aim to get the results we do based on kind of 4 main components. First of all, we're believers in integrated curriculum, that arts and academics, different subject matters, shouldn't live as silos, separate and apart from each other, but they're best experienced from an education perspective when they're integrated, when they bleed into each other. That's best realized in a project-based approach to the curriculum. In other words, students experiencing a process of inquiry, long, complicated projects or problems that they're trying to solve or create, often culminating in a performance of some kind for us. But that's the best way to integrate and to master content. Personalized learning is not necessarily a new concept. I'll get to it again in a second, but think Maria Montessori. She was the first pioneer of personalized learning. And then finally, we're a small school with a tight school culture. We use the word family a lot. The staff on our campus pretty much know every single student, and we want our families engaged from the beginning. At the end of the day, we are the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts because arts is quintessentially important to what we're doing. It unlocks core content. It's the common thread throughout our program, and we don't want to lose sight of that at any time. This is kind of what I was speaking to in terms of project-based personalized mastery learning. You're not going to walk into our classrooms, for those of you that have been on a tour or would have come on a tour, and see a teacher at the front of the room with all the students in rows. Often you'll see that teacher immersed in project-based small group work, facilitating, mentoring, coaching, pushing, not just being the direct instructor. You're all empty vessels. I'm going to fill you up with knowledge. It's really an antiquated model and not how the 21st century learner learns best. So we like to talk about our teachers as guides on the side and not sages on the stage. All these are real studies. They all say relatively similar things, which is to suggest that if you implement this pedagogy with fidelity, you see increased results for students. An increased academic experience, increased achievement. Our academic program is built as a 7-year scope and sequence. In other words, we designed it so that you can come in as a 6th grader and go all the way through 12th grade. That's not to say that you can't be successful coming in as a 9th grader or as an 8th grader or whatever it is, but we want you to think about how we've designed it. Always thinking in terms of a college and career preparatory program. We have graduation requirements that follow the A to G requirements. That's the minimum eligibility for admission into the UC and CSU system. It's a higher bar than graduation requirements at most other high schools in the area. But students often go above and beyond because they want to go to college, right? The point we're trying to make is that all students that leave SPA will be eligible, will be able to go to college if they so choose. The point being, we want as many doors open for our students at the end of their 7-year experience here as we can. Personalized, integrated, project-based, I touched on that already. This is a little bit more about the UC, CSU, A to G requirements. You can see entrance requirements for CSU, UC, and then SPA graduation requirements. This is with a C or better in each one of these courses and subject areas. The point being, we meet or exceed those standards in all cases. We believe that's important for our students in their future. This is another video about personalized learning. So there you go. Some the tenets of personalized learning. How do we personalize at SPA? Well, first of all, we leverage technology. We're a one-to-one school. Every student is provided with their own laptop computer or Chromebook at the beginning of the school year, and that's their tool to take home with them and bring back every day for the rest of the year. This is not to suggest that we have our students plugged into a computer all day long. If you walk around school, you'll see sometimes they're using them and sometimes they are not. I'll be the first to admit that computers will never replace teachers. There's just something that can't be recreated in terms of the human experience. However, teachers that use technology, that use computers to enhance and bolster their curriculum and instruction will replace teachers that do not. And in fact, they have in large part. So technology can do some amazing things in today's world, and we use that. That includes a personalized learning plan for each student on a really dynamic learning management system. I'll have another slide in a second about that, but we use Summit Learning. And this is a cutting edge tool that houses all of our academic content on an online platform, and that is personalized for each student and their path through their learning experience. We also believe mentoring is really important. Every student has an adult on campus that's designated as their mentor that supports them in executive functioning, in goal setting, and relationship building. And then a big important part of personalized learning and the belief structure behind that is that mastery is the thing that we measure student progress in, not just the passage of time. It's one of the silliest things we still do in public education. You were born on this date. At this day, you belong in this grade, and 180 days later, you're ready for the next one. Really, it should be about, have you shown that you know the content? Can you master it, and are you ready to move on? This is Summit Learning. SPA was really fortunate in that we went through a very rigorous application process, as any school does that wants to use Summit Learning. And we were in the second cohort of schools and districts that got access to this program. And when you do, it's a really, really robust system. But you have to kind of be vetted first. Summit Learning, the program and the pedagogy aligns with the things that we believe in: the mentorship, the projects, the individualized learning. The core values that I mentioned at the very, very beginning when it came to our mission statements is reiterated here in this document. This is our graduate profile. It covers the 4 R's. You see there: rigor, relevance, resilience, and relationships. And then the critical skills and characteristics that we want our students to acquire and master before they leave. What you'll see here is that it's not, I can write a really good 5-paragraph essay or write a, or know the quadratic equation. It's more about showing what you're able to do for 21st century skills. Oh, pause for a second. Sorry about that. Showing what you're able to do in the real world. These are the skills that get you success, that will move you into a career and into a happy life. Our arts program next. SPA is proud to offer a really unique and powerful program. When you come into the school, you declare a major. You pick one of 5 different arts majors: theater, dance, vocal music, instrumental music, and production and design. Again, built in a 7-year scope and sequence of courses, moving you towards a conservatory model of training. We want students to be able to pursue post-secondary training in their arts, go into careers if that's really their track. We don't pretend that every one of our students is going to be a professional artist. That's not the goal. But we do know that the mixture of the arts and the academics in this kind of model can prepare learners for success, period. But if you are that kid that's headed to Broadway, we will help you get there. Who are we looking for at SPA? I think it's really, really important to mention, and probably more than once, that we are the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts. Your students should have a passion for the art. They should at least have some experience with it. It doesn't need to be formal training or professional expertise, but they're going to be pursuing something that's challenging and that's a major part of their day within their art. They should want to be shaped by seasoned professionals in their fields and really working towards what it means to be a 21st century American performing artist. The arts team put together this credo, which I won't read to you, but you'll find in all of their literature, and I think kind of captures the essence of what our young artist scholars are expected to embrace on a daily basis in their courses and as a member of our community. We have 5 arts majors, like I mentioned. I'll go through really quickly with some pictures. Our dance department is headed by Director Orloff. There's some of our students in rehearsal. Theater by Director Mitchell. Some of the productions that we put on in the last couple years. Vocal music is headed by Director Logan. Also some pictures. Classically trained vocalists here. Instrumental music by Director Schenkel. And finally, production and design, which is probably the one that bears explanation. This is the technical theater world. You start with 2D and 3D design, drawing, painting, things like that, but really you're moving towards set construction, lighting design, sound, makeup, costuming, etc. Some of them in action. Yes, they use power tools on occasion. The point here is that SPA is a unique and innovative model. I think we're aligned with the intent of the charter school legislation and especially offering something that's needed in this community. We're really about building a team, and that doesn't mean just our staff, but it means our students and parents and guardians. We're really trying to put a whole community together here, and we want everybody to want to be a part of that. When we talk about prospective SPA students, all students are welcome to apply as long as you fall within the grade range that we accept. Again, passion for the arts, a belief in our mission and the kind of program we're implementing here, and a desire to be engaged in our community. When we talk about the enrollment process, it has several steps here. Submitting an intent to enroll or an application, attending an arts open house event, which for this open enrollment period we will be doing virtually, declaring a major. Then you go all the way through to the end of the open enrollment period where we have the public random drawing or lottery. We offer enrollment spots or waitlist numbers. You accept or decline, then you move into registration, and the final thing is a placement audition. So you'll note that that is at the end. In other words, we don't require you to audition to get into the school. Once you're in, we have you audition within your art so that we know where to place you, so that we can ensure that you're at the right level dance or the right level theater class. The intent to enroll, the application form, it's on our website, super simple. Go to the Enroll Now tab and you'll find it. Open enrollment is from April 8th through May 6th at this time. So it will open on April 8th and it'll close at 4 p.m. on May 6th. Completing that first step, that application form, doesn't guarantee you a spot. It doesn't prohibit you from changing your mind. But it's an important first step that gets you in a dialogue with the school. The arts open houses, like I said, are a mandatory step. They are going to be happening in a virtual space. So you'll find after your application is sent that you'll get a link to video presentations from all of our arts directors that you can listen to. The purpose here is to help inform you so that when you declare your major, you really know what you're getting into. You know the kind of training, the kind of programmatic direction that you're going to be subscribing to. At the end of the process, again, there will be that lottery, right? The public random drawing. If there are more applications than we have spots for, we have to have a lottery. There are some preferences, as you can see there. What will happen after that on April 8th is that you'll either get a offer of enrollments or you'll get a waitlist number. Capacity is set at each grade level based on availability within that grade and within that art major. The placement audition is the final step. Also will be happening virtually at this time. So look for information after you've gone through all of the other steps from the arts directors about how to complete the placement audition. If you miss a step, you have to start over, or your application may be deemed invalid. We may hold a second open enrollment at another time, but right now this is open enrollment, April 8th through May 6th. And don't hesitate to reach out to us at any time. This is the best way to ask enrollment questions, our enrollment email, enrollment@cogrospa.org. I'd love if you could come visit us right now, but of course you can't. So you will find on our website a virtual tour of the campus, not as dynamic as when there's students and staff at work there, but you can at least kind of take a virtual tour. That link is up under the enrollment tab as well. Just wanted to point this out. Lots of great stuff was happening this spring. Of course, this is all being postponed. But if you dig around on the website, especially within the arts, you'll be able to see pictures and sometimes video from performances this year and in past seasons. It's an important way to really calibrate the kind of artistic work that our students are doing. I hope my brief presentation here has inspired you. That's kind of our vision here. We're not just filling pails, we're lighting fires. We're looking for you to be fired up about our school. And we hope that you pursue the first step, that application, that intent to enroll. You can't stick around to speak to me because I'm not here in person, but you can, like I said, reach out. Best way is email right now. So yeah, frequently asked questions that I do get. Do I have to pick one major? The answer is yes, you do have to pick one major. We're going for depth rather than breadth here. If you want to just dabble in an extracurricular fashion within the arts, this might not be the school for you. We're going very, very deep and very, very rigorous in each one of our arts majors. And so That's the kind of training you should be looking for. Another frequently asked question, if I'm on the wait list, does that mean I won't get into the school? It depends. The likelihood that if you're on a wait list that you could eventually get an offer of admission is very high. A lot changes between now and the beginning of the next school year. People move, people make different decisions about their educational choices. So don't give up hope if you do get put on a wait list at first. Another question I get is bell schedule and calendar. You can look on our website about what a day looks like in school this year when we were on campus. You can see our bell schedule on there. You can see the academic calendar. You can see next year's calendar. It's already been published. Next year's bell schedule will likely be slightly different, but I don't think radically from this year. Anyways, I hope this is a helpful presentation. If it has sparked an additional question for you, don't hesitate to reach out. But most importantly, hopefully you submit that application form on our website right away. Hope to talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.